It's the home opener for the 2017 Xenia Scouts season, and it'll begin tonight at Grady's Field here in Xenia, Ohio, as the Scouts will take on the Southern Ohio Copperheads from Athens, Ohio, where these two teams will play Game 2 of their 3-game series. Gabe Genovesi here with you this evening alongside my broadcast partner, Andrew Alix. We'll hear from Andrew in just a little bit as he's finishing up some things here beside me in the press box. Bubba Cates and Phil Butler meet at home plate for the Scouts and the Copperheads, and we're a few minutes away from the first pitch here at Grady's Field. Last night, these two teams met in Athens at Bob Wren Stadium at Ohio University, and the Copperheads took away a 10-8 win from Xenia. The Scouts scored 5 in the top of the ninth to try to build a rally and fell just short as the Copperheads had a huge bottom of the third 6-run, 5-hit inning that put them over the top. So the Scouts lost their season opener, but we come home now to Grady's Field, where the Scouts have not lost a home opener since 2013. They got a win in 2014, 2015, 2016. So they're 3-0 these last 3 years in the first game at Grady's Field. And hopefully that trend continues today. The manager's just now done shaking hands at home plate, and I believe that'll bring us to the national anthem, or at least I thought it was going to. And no, we're going to go with starting line first, so I'll give you the starting lineups as well. The Southern Ohio Copperheads will bat first, so I'll give you their lineup before I announce your 2017 Xenia Scouts. For the Daniel McFarland in the leadoff spot in center field, Justin Antonzik played second base last night. He'll be in left field tonight. And it's Philip Tomasulo in a leadoff spot for the Copperheads. He is playing right field tonight. He did not play last night. Daniel McFarland is in the 3-hole for the Copperheads. He'll be in center field. Matt Harrison in the cleanup spot. He'll be at first base. Josh Fuel in the 5 spot for the Copperheads tonight. Normally a big power hitter. He struggled last night, 0 for 5, with 4 strikeouts for Fuel. In the 6th spot, it'll be Ty Sunken. Sunken will play third base for the Copperheads. In the 7th spot, it'll be Dan McCauley, a catcher for Justin Kirkpatrick is in the 8th spot playing short tonight, and Marshall Smith rounds out the Copperheads lineup. He will play second base. So Kirkpatrick and Smith, the middle infield for the Copperheads, round out the lineup. For your 2017 Xenia Scouts, well, I'll give you that lineup right after the national anthem. We'll be right back on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Back here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network, the home opener for the 2017 Xenia Scouts. Sorry about the confusion in the pregame. I thought the national anthem was coming a couple minutes before. It didn't, so I started giving you the lineups, and now I'll finish giving you the lineups. For the Scouts, it'll be Ben Beachy hitting first at second base, Jordan Lambert second in left field, Caden Owens in right field batting third, Kyle Casserly in the cleanup playing first, Joey Roddy in the 5 spot playing third this evening, Donald Ring, who just joined the team a couple days ago. He was on this team last year as well in the DH. Aaron Takis at short, Chris Ackerman in the 8th hole playing catcher behind the dish, and Francisco Ondina in center field rounding out the Scouts lineup. The Copperheads will bat first here at Grady's Field. Michael Pineda O'Donnell is on the mound tonight for the Xenia Scouts. O'Donnell from Southern New Hampshire University. He just graduated from Southern New Hampshire, actually. He still has 2 years of baseball eligibility left, so he is looking for a new school to play at. A couple of the guys have joked with him that he should just follow him back to their schools. O'Donnell, a righty on the mound, 6'1", 190 pounds. Appeared in 2 games for Southern New Hampshire this past year. Had a 4.5 ERA in those 2 games. As Philip Tomasulo steps to the plate for the Copperheads, and the first pitch of the evening is a ball low and away from Pineda O'Donnell. O'Donnell, 2 innings pitched in those 2 appearances. He gave up 1 earned run. No walks and 3 strikeouts. As his second pitch is off speed in there for the first strike of the evening. 1 ball and 1 strike to Philip Tomasulo. Tomasulo in open stance in the batter's box. As the 1-1 pitch misses low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tomasulo just finished up his junior year at Buffalo University. Now the 2-1 is a blooper into center field that just gets past the shortstop Aaron Takis. And Tomasulo has his first hit of the 2017 season, as he was not in the lineup last night in Athens. And that'll bring up Justin Antonzik for the Copperheads. Antonzik 2 for 5 with an RBI last night. He had a line drive single into right center field, and then his second hit was an infield single on a ground ball to the third baseman. And the first pitch to Antonzik is high and tight, 1 ball and no strikes.
And one thing we big time noticed with Antonzik last night is that man has speed on the base path. Anything, a slow ground ball over towards third, Roddy's going to have to come in and try to make the play, or else Antonzik can beat you out on the base path. The infield hit very much a threat.
And now Antonzik slices one towards right center field. It was a hit and run, so Tomasulo is going to go all the way to third. Antonzik stops at first, and the Copperheads are threatening early here in the first. Almost exactly like Antonzik's first hit last night as well. A line drive towards right center field, and with none down here in the first inning, Southern Ohio has runners on the corners with nobody out, and that'll bring up Daniel McFarland for the Copperheads. McFarland reached base all 5 times last evening. He went 2 for 2 at the plate. He also got hit by a pitch, reached on a fielder's choice, and reached on an error. Pineda O'Donnell comes set. A ground ball up the middle goes off of O'Donnell's glove. He flips over to first, and they're going to get him at first. A good scoop by Kyle Casserly as the ball slipped out of O'Donnell's hands. The runner from third, Tomasulo, does score, so McFarland gets the job done and the RBI, and Antonzik moves up to second. And that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Matt Harrison, for the Copperheads. Antonzik leads off a second. O'Donnell gives him a long look, now fires an off-speed pitch in the opposite batter's box. 1 ball and 0 strikes. The infield across the diamond for the Scouts. Roddy at the hot corner. Takis at short. Beachy at second. Casserly at first. Now the 1-0. A curveball that's hammered out toward left field. It looks to be foul, and it will be, but that ball went over the wall. And just a long strike for Matt Harrison. The count 1-1. Harrison will be a sophomore at Marshall University, a native of Cross Lanes, West Virginia. O'Donnell taking his time on the mound. The 1-1. Catches the outside corner for strike two. It's the first time O'Donnell's been ahead in the count tonight, and we'll see what he goes with a 1-2 count. O'Donnell sets. Now the pitch. An inside fastball just misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Matt Harrison.
Good pitch selection there by O'Donnell, trying to get Harrison to swing at something that would have been a little bit inside, but Harrison watching all the way, and the home plate umpire are not going to give O'Donnell the call there. So 2 balls, 2 strikes now. We'll see where O'Donnell goes with this.
The 2-2 pitch is hammered sky high into center field. Odina going back just in front of the warning track, makes the grab, and Antonzik, with that speed that my partner was talking about, makes it to third, so there's 2 down. Here in the top of the first, the Copperheads lead 1-0, and Justin Antonzik moves over to third with Josh Fuel coming to the plate. Fuel, normally a power hitter, really has some pop off the bat, hits the ball well. Last night, not the case. 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts for Josh Fuel, the native of Kokomo, Indiana. And now the first pitch to Fuel was a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Josh Fuel at Heartland Community College batted .366 last season on an on-base percentage of .493. Now the 0-1 is grounded toward the second baseman, Beachy. He fields it on a knee, flips over to Casserly, and that'll do it. Here in the top of the first, the Copperheads strike first. They get a run. The Scouts will try to answer in the bottom. We'll be right back on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. The Copperheads get a run in the top of the first off the Xenia Scouts. Now the Scouts will come to bat in the bottom half of the inning. Ben Beachy will lead it off for Xenia, followed by Jordan Lambert and Caden Owens, the first three batters in the Scouts lineup tonight. Beachy 1 for 4 with a walk yesterday. He also reached on a fielder's choice. And the first pitch from pitcher Aaron Oceanbine is fouled off behind the plate, 0-1 to Beachy. Beachy a righty, Oceanbine also a righty. And the second pitch is a curveball that is a strike. That looked a little high from here, but it's called a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Now the 0-2 pitch, a curveball that Beachy whiffs at, and that'll be the first out of the inning for the Scouts. So Oceanbine off to a very nice start with a strikeout. Aaron Oceanbine stands at 6'3", 225 pounds. He'll be a senior at Eastern Kentucky next year. Oceanbine, a native of Lexington, Kentucky. And now Jordan Lambert, the lefty, in the box for the Scouts. He swings and a miss at a fastball high.
And Oceanbine just pounding the zone. Every single pitch here, the first 4 so far, right down the pipe. And the Scouts having trouble seeing it right now and attacking there again with a fastball off the plate in there for a called strike. So another Scout behind the Scout 0-2 Gabe.
Oceanbine working very quickly. The 0-2 pitch. Lambert whiffs at a fastball at his eyes. So Oceanbine gets the first 2 batters of the inning, and that'll bring up Caden Owens for the Scouts. Oceanbine, just to continue my thoughts on him, a 7.9 ERA at Eastern Kentucky. He went 1-4 in the win-loss column, 14 appearances on the mound, 8 starts for Eastern Kentucky. Now the first pitch to Owens is a curveball high and outside for ball 1.
First pitch that wasn't a strike.
The 1-0 pitch. Owens hacks at it and whiffs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Caden Owens came in the game last night, a pinch hitter in the 9th inning, and ripped a double on the first hit he saw.
Hopefully a preview of things to come for Caden Owens.
First pitch he saw, and now he watches another fastball way high and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 to Caden Owens. In there on the outside corner for strike 2. Owens hoping to repeat from last night. That double was right down the right field line. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and he whiffs at a fastball, and Aaron Oceanbine strikes out the side here in the first inning. The Scouts fail to get a run. It's 1-0 Copperheads. We'll head to the top of the second on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Back here for the top of the second at Great East Field. The Scouts trail early 1-0 to the Southern Ohio Copperheads as we're through an inning. Michael Pineda-O'Donnell still on the mound for the Scouts. He starts with a first pitch fastball high at the eyes. 1 ball and no strikes.
Another thing that we should watch today with Pineda O'Donnell, same thing as yesterday with Lozano, a guy who worked mostly in relief this past spring at Southern New Hampshire. O'Donnell has not started a game since high school. It'll be interesting to see how much longevity he has in his arm. And if he can't make it very far, how is Corey Coobs going to deal with a bullpen that is, for the most part, depleted for these Xenia Scouts?
Second pitch is a strike in the outside corner, 1-1. Ty sunk in at the plate for the Copperheads. He skies one towards shallow right field. Ben Beachy on his way back. He makes the grab. The second baseman makes the catch, and Sunken is retired for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Dan McCauley for the Copperheads. He did not play last night in Athens. McCauley did not play for Ohio University this past year either. He'll be a sophomore for the Bobcats. And now the first pitch from O'Donnell is a swing and a miss, strike one.
Change up there by O'Donnell.
So McCauley, as I mentioned, did not play his freshman season. He did not play last night. So he hasn't seen an at-bat since high school, since his senior year of high school.
In his first live game at bat, yes, since his senior year of high school.
The pitch, an off-speed pitch below the knees, 1-1 strike to McCauley. Now in high school, McCauley hit over 400 at North Allegheny High School, if I'm saying that correctly.
Probably Allegheny.
Allegheny, maybe. Sorry, I didn't check the pronunciation on that one.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? You could be right. I could be wrong. What do I know?
The 1-1 pitch is below the knees once again, 2-1 strike. That high school was near Pittsburgh, by the way, where McCauley is from. 2-1 strike. And this one skied high in foul territory. Ackerman, the catcher, cannot make the grab as that ball just kept tailing away from Chris Ackerman, and that'll give McCauley a second chance.
And still very sunny out. Looks like Ackerman may have just lost that one in the sun. Still very much a daytime game here at the early 7:22 start. Sunset probably not until about 8:45, unfortunately, and Chris just lost that one. You'll see it every once in a while. It's a tough break, but get out of jail free card there for Dan McCauley.
McCauley, a bit of an open stance as a righty. Now the 2-2 pitch. A curveball that gets in there on the inside. Strike three looking, and Michael Pineda O'Donnell has his first strikeout of the 2017 season.
Pineda O'Donnell just painting the corner with that curveball. Very well placed. Probably the best pitch we've seen so far today from O'Donnell. And now with two down, he's going to try to get out of this inning unscathed and keep that pitch count down. So hopefully he can go far into this game.
And it'll bring up Justin Kirkpatrick for Southern Ohio. The first pitch to him is fouled off behind the plate. No balls and one strike. Kirkpatrick at shortstop once again tonight. The senior from Ball State. I mentioned last night he played his first season of Division I baseball this past year, and now he lines one towards third. A diving grab is made by Joey Roddy, and that gets the Scouts out of the inning.
Wowzers.
A heck of a play by Joey Roddy, and the Scouts still trail 1-0, but we'll head to the bottom of the second with the heart of the order coming up. Casserly, Roddy, and Ring, 4, 5, 6 due up for the Scouts. We'll be right back on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Back here for the bottom of the second here at Grady's Field. 1-0 is the Copperheads lead as we head to the bottom half of the inning. The Copperheads got 1 in the top of the first, nothing doing in the top of the second. The Scouts went down 1-2-3 in the bottom half of the first, all strikeouts by Aaron Oceanbine, and he starts Kyle Casserly off with a curveball on the outside edge. No balls and 1 strike. Casserly 0 for 3 with a walk last night. Now the second pitch to him is another curveball that catches the outside corner. Kyle doesn't like the call, kind of gives a look at the home plate umpire. Now he's down 0-2. And now a fastball at the eyes. Casserly lays off, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Oceanbine working very quickly. The 1-2 pitch. Casserly fouls it straight back behind home plate, and he stays alive. The infield across the diamond for the Copperheads. Ty Sunken at third base, Justin Kirkpatrick at short, Marshall Smith at second, and Matt Harrison at first as the 1-2 pitch is inside to Casserly. 2 balls and 2 strikes. In the outfield for Southern Ohio, Justin Antonzik in left, Daniel McFarland in center, Philip Tomasulo in right field. Justin Antonzik was at second base last night for the Copperheads. He's a very good utility player from Michigan State. Can play just about anywhere. The 2-2 pitch to Kyle Casserly. Outside off the plate. That'll bring it to 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Good take there by Casserly.
Oceanbine shakes off 1 pitch. Now the 3-2. A fastball on the outside corner for strike 3. And Aaron Oceanbine has struck out his first 4 batters that he's faced this evening. 3 swinging, 1 looking, and that'll bring up Joey Roddy for the Xenia Scouts.
And Roddy, of course, made the diving play over at third to end the top half of the inning. And so we saw what we can do in the field. Now let's see what we can do at the plate. Still waiting for that first hit of the season.
Fastball high, 1-0 to Roddy. And if you were able to hear the crowd at all, they got pretty loud for Joey Roddy and goes to Ohio State. Probably has quite a few friends in the audience today.
Well, you can't walk around the state of Ohio without seeing at least one Buckeye sweatshirt. And my host family, the Makowitzes, they're Michigan fans, and they say it's like you're always in enemy territory here.
The 2-0 to Roddy is upstairs, and he's ahead in the count. 3 balls and no strikes.
Would be surprised if we saw Roddy swing at anything on this pitch here.
The 3-0. Right down the heart of the plate for strike 1. Roddy thought it might have been a little high. He started to flip his bat toward the dugout, but he'll have to stay in there.
He was about ready to go over to first.
The 3-1 pitch from Oceanbine. A swing and a miss from Roddy. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Good change up there by Oceanbine, outside part of the plate. Fighting back into this count against Roddy, 3-2.
The 3-2. And Roddy fouls it off and will redo it. Joey Roddy, 6'2", 195 pounds, redshirted his first year at Ohio State. Now the 3-2 pitch. A swing and a miss on a fastball on the inside part of the plate. And Aaron Oceanbine continues the dominance. 5 batters, 5 strikeouts. And that'll bring up Donald Ring for the Scouts. Ring, now a junior at Hillsdale College. He's in the DH spot tonight. Did get an at-bat last night in the 9th inning. He walked and came around to score in that at-bat. And now the first pitch to him is just below the knees, 1 ball and no strikes. Ring the lefty, the 1-0. A swing and a miss, 1 ball and 1 strike. Donald Ring at Hillsdale really had a breakout year for the Chargers. Now the 1-1 is a curveball that Ring tried to go down and get, and he couldn't get there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Donald Ring played in all 51 games for the Chargers. He hit .316. Now the 1-2 to him is, I thought it was fouled off. And no, they're going to say it wasn't fouled off, so it's a drop third strike. The throw goes wide of first base, and Donald Ring will stand on first. And I believe that is still scored as a strikeout.
Yes, he has technically struck out 6 in a row, so he could strike out 7 batters in 2 innings if he can get Aaron Takas here. But the Scouts now with their first base runner of the game still have yet to put a ball in play. And whenever Oceanbine is putting on these balls, the Scouts have been unable to figure it out through the first 6 spots in the lineup.
Aaron Takas steps to the plate. He takes a strike on the outside corner. Takas got 2 at-bats last night. He went 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk, and now the 0-1 misses inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The Copperheads lead the Scouts 1-0 here in the bottom of the second. 2 down for Xenia. Donald Ring stands on first, and now Takas takes an off-speed pitch low in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike. Takas, a native of Oviedo, Florida.
The Metro Orlando area for you.
And now a pickoff move. Ring dives back to first safely, and the count will stay at 2-1. Takas hit .409 for Cairn University. Cairn is located in California. Now the 2-1, and I believe I was wrong on that.
I believe it's located in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Okay. I apologize to any of Aaron's family that might be out there saying, what the heck is this guy talking about?
And to the rest of you, you're welcome for telling the truth.
The 3-1 pitch, Takas grounds it towards the second baseman, Smith, who flips to the shortstop, Kirkpatrick, and that'll do it for the Scouts. In the bottom of the second, we'll head to the third. The Copperheads lead the Scouts 1-0 here at Grady's Field. We'll be right back on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Back here for the top of the third at Grady's Field. The Copperheads lead the Scouts 1-0 as we head to the third inning. Southern Ohio got a run in the top of the first, nothing doing for either team in the second. And Marshall Smith in the 9-hole tonight steps up for the Copperheads. Smith was not in the lineup last night. He will be a junior at Western Kentucky, playing second base tonight. Smith bat .243 at Western Kentucky as he fouls the first pitch off, 0-1. He had a .317 on-base percentage, a .378 slugging percentage, and that's because he had 9 hits all year, and he had 2 doubles and a homer.
And the big thing we're looking for here is after Pineda O'Donnell allowed hits to the first 2 batters he's faced, as that one's grounded over towards first, and Casserly's going to take him himself for the out. Sorry for stealing that call, Gabe. But it'll be interesting to see after allowing 2 hits to the first 2 batters if Pineda O'Donnell allows himself to settle into this game and see if he can keep the Scouts in this one, given how well Ocean Bane is pitching on the other side.
And that'll bring up Philip Tomasulo, the leadoff batter for the Copperheads. He singled in the first and came around to score. Pineda O'Donnell still on the mound for the Scouts. As Andrew mentioned, these first couple starts for these guys, they'll be limited on some pitch counts because Jorge Lozano last night, Michael Pineda O'Donnell tonight are relievers for their school teams and are not used to pitching 80 to 90 pitches a night. Tomasulo took a ball high and tight. Now the 1-0 pitch. And it's a slow ground ball toward Roddy at third. He scoops it up and can't quite fire it across the diamond. He lost the handle. And Philip Tomasulo is on first base. And I believe that'll be an infield single. They'll give Tomasulo an infield single. And he's 2 for 2 tonight. And that'll bring up Justin Antonzik for the Copperheads. Antonzik singled in the first inning as well on a hit and run. So his single brought Tomasulo to third. Then Daniel McFarland grounded out, but it brought Philip Tomasulo home and gave the Copperheads their 1-0 lead. O'Donnell still taking his time on the mound. A long look in, now a long look at first. And he won't throw the pitch. He'll step off and regroup. Talking to Pineda O'Donnell before the game, as now he'll send a pitch way inside. The runner's going to go, and he slides in safe easily. Philip Tomasulo steals his first base of the year, and the Copperheads have a runner in scoring position with nobody out here in the third. So Pineda O'Donnell told me, like Andrew mentioned earlier, that it's his first start since high school, and he is very, very excited to get out there. Now the 1-0 to Antonzik just misses, I guess, below the knees, 2 balls and no strikes. But he said the key for him today is going to be to get ahead of hitters, as that's a key for most pitchers when they walk out onto the mound, and to stay calm, to control his breathing. The 2-0, an off-speed pitch that just misses off the inside edge, 3 balls and no strikes to Justin Antonzik. And as soon as O'Donnell got here to Xenia, you could tell he was excited. Talking to pitching coach Corey Coobs, he loves Pineda O'Donnell. He thinks he has great stuff on the mound and can be a solid starter for this team. The 3-0 pitch. Antonzik thought about it, but watches the pitch inside. So a 4-pitch walk for Justin Antonzik. And the Copperheads have 2 on with 1 out here in the third. And that'll bring up Daniel McFarland for Southern Ohio. McFarland had the RBI ground out in the first inning. We know he can be dangerous. 2 for 2 last night as well. Now the pitch. A fastball outside for ball 1. The runners on first and second, Antonzik and Tomasulo, both acted like they were going to take off and stopped after a few hard steps. The infield in double play depth for the Scouts, the middle infield, I should say. Roddy and Casserly at the corners, leaning toward the lines. The 1-0 pitch. Downstairs for ball 2, and that's 6 straight balls Pineda O'Donnell has thrown now. Tomasulo on second, Antonzik on first for the Copperheads. McFarland, the lefty at the plate. The 2-0 is right down the pipe. 2 balls and 1 strike. McFarland in center field tonight for the Copperheads. Actually, Antonzik's in left field. Tomasulo's in right field. So all 3 outfielders for the Copperheads on the base pass right now. And O'Donnell fakes to the plate, goes to second. Almost had Tomasulo, but no one there covering the bag. And Phillip gets back easily. O'Donnell looks at second. Now the 2-1 is hammered toward right field, but right at the right fielder, Caden Owens. Owens fires in to the shortstop, Takis. Takis won't make a throw to third, but a good catch made by Owens and a great play to get the ball in quickly. And that'll be the second out of the inning and move runners to the corners for the Copperheads. And that'll bring up the all-dangerous Matt Harrison for Southern Ohio. I say that because Harrison went 3 for 4 last night with 2 RBIs, an RBI single and an RBI double. The first pitch to Matt Harrison. O'Donnell looks at first, now fires. And Harrison takes a huge hack at a fastball below the knees. No balls and 1 strike. One nothing Copperheads here in the top of the third. Pineda O'Donnell trying to get out of a jam. He fakes to third, looks at first, and will regroup on the mound. No balls and 1 strike to Matt Harrison. O'Donnell takes his sign. Now the 0-1 pitch. The runner will go. Ackerman will not even attempt to throw to second base, and Justin Antonzik steals second, and the Copperheads have 2 runners in scoring position here with 2 down here in the third. A 1-1 count to Matt Harrison, the Marshall Thundering Herd sophomore. And that pitch is way outside. It gets past Ackerman. The run will score. And Tonzik takes a big loop around third, but will hold. And the Copperheads have themselves a 2-0 lead. Pineda O'Donnell with his first wild pitch of the year. He did not have a wild pitch in those 2 innings at Southern New Hampshire this year. And now the count is 2 balls and 1 strike, I believe, to Matt Harrison. The pitch, and Harrison hammers one toward left field. Going back is the left fielder Lambert, and he's not going to get there. That ball's over the wall. A 2-run shot for Matt Harrison, and it is now 4-0 Copperheads. A 2-run home run for Matt Harrison clears the bases, and the Scouts trail 4-0 here in the third. Matt Harrison, who only batted .172 at Marshall this past season, went 5 for 29 at the plate, did not have a home run, and he drills that one over the left field wall here at Grady's Field. And it is 4-0 Copperheads here in the top of the third. First pitch to Josh Fuel was fouled off behind the plate. No balls and 1 strike. And now Chris Ackerman will go out and talk to Pineda O'Donnell. And if you're Ackerman, I would just be trying to settle Pineda O'Donnell down. Pineda O'Donnell talked about it before the game, too. He was amped to be on the mound. He wanted to control himself, stay calm. And no matter what happened to begin the game, he wanted to be able to get through several innings for the Scouts tonight. The 0-1, an off-speed pitch high and outside for ball 1. Josh Fuel continues to struggle to begin his year. He's now 0 for 6 at the plate. Fuel, the lefty. And he hammers one towards center field. A blooping ball, a diving attempt made by Odina. He can't get there. It'll bounce toward Owens in right. Owens throws it in, and his throw is not in time. And Josh Fuel has himself a double. So just as I say, he continues to struggle. Fuel hits a double, and that'll bring up Tyler Sunken for the Copperheads. 4-0 Southern Ohio over the Scouts here in the third, with 2 down here in the top half of the inning. Sunken popped out to the second baseman, Beachy, his first time up, and now he takes a ball low and away, 1-0. Tyler Sunken played at Bowling Green last year. It was also his first season of Division I baseball as he played at Owens Community College in the 2015 season. Now the 1-0 is low and outside. A good block by Ackerman to keep it in front of him, 2-0. Sunken played in 43 games for Owens Community College in 2015. He hit .379 for the Express, 34 RBIs, 8 doubles, 2 triples, and 2 home runs for Sunken. So he could not have been too pleased with a 4 for 40 performance at the plate for the Bowling Green Falcons this past year. Now the 2-0 from O'Donnell is in there for a strike, 2 balls and 1 strike. O'Donnell takes the sign, gives a look at second, and now the 2-1. And it's blooped into left field. It'll land along the left field line. The runner Fuel will come around to score, and Sunken's going to hold at first. He'll have himself an RBI single, and the Copperheads lead 5-0. And that'll bring up Dan McCauley for the Copperheads. McCauley struck out looking on a curveball in the second inning. And now we'll have a visit to the mound to Pineda O'Donnell. Ackerman out there with him. The infield does not come into the mound. Ben Beachy and Aaron Takis at second. The middle infielders talking with each other. The Copperheads lead the Scouts 5-0 here in the top of the third. A 4-run third inning for the Copperheads, and it all started with a single by Philip Tomasulo. Well, Marshall Smith grounded out, Then Philip Tomasulo got the hits rolling with a single. Justin Antonczyk then walked. Daniel McFarland lined out to right, and the runner Tomasulo moved over to third, so the runners were on the corners for the Copperheads. And now another stolen base attempt, a good throw by Ackerman, but the runner slides in there safe. That's Sunken, who steals second, and with 2 outs, the Copperheads have another runner in scoring position. Philip Tomasulo came around to score on a wild pitch by Pineda O'Donnell. And then the 2-run blast by Matt Harrison made this game 4-0. The 0-1 pitch catches the outside corner, and Pineda O'Donnell was ahead in the count 0-2 to Dan McCauley. Josh Fuel then ripped a 2-out double, and Ty Sunken brought him around with an RBI single, and that gets us to McCauley. And McCauley's going to step out right before Pineda O'Donnell can start his windup. Ty Sunken stands on second. The 0-2. A curveball that just misses off the outside edge. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dan McCauley. O'Donnell trying to stop the bleeding. A 5-0 lead for the Copperheads over your Xenia Scouts. The 1-2 pitch. A high chopper toward third, but it goes foul. And we'll redo the 1-2. Five runs on 6 hits for the Copperheads. Meanwhile, the Scouts are struggling from the plate. No runs on no hits. The 1-2 to McCauley. This time the ground ball to Roddy at third. He fields it on 2 hops, fires across the diamond. Casserly stretches out, and he's just out at first base, but that'll do it for the Copperheads. here in the third inning. A long third inning for Pineda O'Donnell on the mound. The Copperheads lead 5-0 over the Scouts, and we'll be right back on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. We head to the bottom of the third here at Grady's Field. The Copperheads lead the Scouts 5-0. 4 runs in the top half of the inning for Southern Ohio. And the Scouts face another big deficit to begin this game. Xenia last night let up 6 runs in the bottom of the third as we were at the Copperheads play last night, Bob Wren Stadium at Ohio University. And the Scouts found themselves in a 7-2 hole. The final score of last night's game ended up being 10-8 Copperheads. And now once again, the Scouts trail 5-0 here in the bottom half of the third inning. And right away, Chris Ackerman singles up the middle for the first hit of the game for the Scouts.
And let me tell you, nobody no hits the Scouts.
Ackerman finally gives the Scouts a base runner. Well, technically, it's their second base runner of the game.
Because of the drop third strike with Donald Ring.
But Donald Ring struck out in the second. The catcher McCauley couldn't handle the pitch, and Ring was safe at first, and that'll bring up Francisco Odina for the Scouts. The first pitch to Odina catches the outside corner for strike one. No balls and 1 strike to the Spring Harbor, Michigan native. Odina was a walk machine last night. 0 for 2, 3 walks for Francisco. And now he fouls one back and is in a hole, 0-2. Odina in the 9 spot tonight. For his school team, the Spring Arbor Cougars, he says he's batted at the top or the bottom. They've had him lead off, bat second before. They've had him in that 9 hole, kind of as a double leadoff role there. Odina, a small guy, only 5'8", speedy on the base pass. The 0-2 outside for ball 1. Odina batted .296 for Spring Arbor. Had 48 hits on the year, 30 RBIs. Now the 1-2, a curveball that he skies high toward the center fielder, Daniel McFarland. He settles under it and makes the grab, and there's 1 down here in the bottom of the third.
So now we're back to the top of the lineup. It'll be interesting to see if the Scouts lineup, who the first 6 of which were strikeout victims to Mr. Ocean Bane, if they have a better grasp on his pitching style this second time around. You'll see that a lot in baseball. So Ben Beachy up here and trying to get something going for these Scouts.
A curveball misses high for ball 1, and I'm not surprised to see the curveball either there. A lot of fastballs through the first 5-6 batters of this lineup. Now Oceanbine mixing it up, trying to throw these first few hitters for the Scouts off a little, and the fastball that time misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Ben Beachy. And if you're wondering if Oceanbine normally has strikeout stuff, he struck out 38 and 41 pitches for Eastern Kentucky, so a little under a strikeout an inning. Well, he struck out 3 per inning in those first 2. And now Beachy grounds one towards third. A diving play made by the third baseman. He'll fire across the diamond, not in time. That's Ty Sunken over there at third base for the Copperheads. So Ben Beachy beats out an infield single. And the Scouts have 2 on with 1 out.
And no question there, Gabe. That is an infield hit. The shortstop having to make the diving play. No easy task over there in the 6th hole. So the Scouts, after going hitless in the first 2 frames, 2 hits to start this 3rd inning off and see if they can get something going here, Gabe.
And it'll bring up Jordan Lambert for the Scouts. Lambert, one of those strikeout victims in the 1st inning. Oceanbine starts him off with a curveball on the outside edge for strike 1. Jordan Lambert from Tennessee Martin. He'll be a senior with the Skyhawks next season. He still has 2 years of eligibility left, though, because of injuries. And now a fastball at the eyes for ball 1. Lambert, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs last night. Has a lot of power from the left side. The 1-1. Ground ball towards second. A good play made by the second baseman to range over and throw it over to the first baseman, Harrison. That's Marshall Smith over there at second base that makes the play. But the runners advance for the Scouts. So 2 down here in the 3rd as Lambert grounds out to the second baseman. Beachy moves to second. Ackerman moves to third, and it'll be Caden Owens at the plate for the Scouts. Owens struck out in the 1st inning. He did rip that double last night, and he watches a fastball on the outside edge for strike 1.
Just painting the outside part of the plate is Oceanbane there, and the umpires in this game clearly showing a little bit bigger of a strike zone than we saw in last night's contest.
The 0-1. Low and inside to Owens. 1 ball and 1 strike. Oceanbine still working kind of quickly on the mound, but with 2 runners on, taking more of his time. Gives a look at second. Now the 1-1. A curveball that catches the outside part. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And I'll tell you, none of these Scouts hitters are seeing that outside corner. I can't tell you how many times Oceanbine has either it's been just off the plate or he's hit the corner and the home plate umpire gives him the strike. 2 on, 2 out. The 1-2 pitch to Owens. High and out for ball 2.
Good take there by Caden.
Ackerman at third, Beachy at second. The Copperheads lead the Scouts 5-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Caden Owens stands at the plate. The 2-2 pitch. A curveball that's sky toward the third baseman, Sunken. He settles under it and makes the grab, and that'll do it for the Scouts here in the bottom of the 3rd. Nothing doing for Xenia. They leave 2 runners stranded, and the Copperheads lead 5-0 as we head to the top of the 4th. Andrew Alix will have the play-by-play for the 4th, 5th, and 6th when we come back here at Grady's Field. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Andrew Alix here alongside Gabe Genovesi back here for the top of the fourth at the home opener at Grady's Field. The Xenia Scouts and the Southern Ohio Copperheads. First batter here, Justin Kirkpatrick, and change up from Michael Pineda O'Donnell. Swung on, and looks like he got a piece of that. Nothing in one goes to count. Kirkpatrick, his first time up, he lined out to Joey Roddy. A very athletic play by Roddy over there at the third base hot corner. And Roddy, a guy who, one of the bigger third basemen you'll see out there. Pineda O'Donnell ahead in the count, 0-1 the pitch. And that one is lifted into left field. Coming under it, left fielder Jordan Lambert doesn't even have to take a step and makes the grab. Mark that as an F7 in your books. And a couple of pitches in and out there for Pineda O'Donnell, who struggled in the top half of the third inning, allowing 4 runs, most of which coming on the home run off the bat of Matt Harrison. Harrison continuing to stay hot after a big opening night last night at Bob Wren Stadium. Now the batter, Marshall Smith. Smith, his first time up, a ground out over to first. Kyle Casserly taking that play unassisted. First pitch to Smith. Off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. The count here with 1 out. Smith bats from the left side against the righty. That one grounded hard over towards the second baseman, Beachy. Beachy throws on over to first and will get there in time very easily. And after what had been kind of a nightmare of an inning for Pineda O'Donnell, just about 4 or 5 pitches to get 2 outs, but now it's going to be back to the top of the order with Philip Tomasulo. Tomasulo, he led off this game with a single and did not stop there. 2 for 2 on the day is Tomasulo. That accounts for about 1/3 of all the Copperheads hits on the evening. So Tomasulo, he steps in, batting from the right side against the righty. First pitch, and that's going to plunk Tomasulo on the elbow, a hit by pitch. So it only took us 4 innings to get to our first hit by pitch tonight. There was quite a few of those in last night's contest, let me tell you. So there will be no 1, 2, 3 inning tonight, or at least here in the top of the fourth. Now the batter is going to be Justin Antonzik. Antonzik, the Michigan State Spartan, he bats with 1 on and 2 outs here in the top half of the fourth. Pickoff move for Pineda O'Donnell over to first. Antonzik on the day. He is 1 for 1, singled his first time up, walked, and came around to score back in the third inning. Pickoff move again from Pineda O'Donnell. 5-0 Copperheads is your score. The Scouts struggling to muster anything up. The runner's going to go. Throw from Chris Ackerman over to second is going to be high, and up in the air to get it is Ben Beachy, but he will not be able to make the tag, so call it a stolen base for Philip Tomasulo. And the Copperheads have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs here. One ball, no strikes. The pitch. That one finds the outside part of the plate. A called strike evens up the count 1-1. Pineda O'Donnell looks back to second. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Breaking ball catches the outside part of the plate yet again, and the home plate umpire is going to give him that one a called strike 2. So Pineda O'Donnell ahead in the count now. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. The runner at second is Philip Tomasulo. Antonzik awaits the 1-2 from Pineda O'Donnell. O'Donnell sets, delivers, and that one is going to be taken off the plate. Ball 2 evens up the count 2-2 here with 2 outs in the top of the fourth inning. The Copperheads lead by a score of 5-0. Antonzik, the batter, the native of Westerville, Ohio. Same town as my broadcast partner, Gabe Genovesi. Here's 2-2. And that one is grounded up the middle, going over is Beachy. He's going to get a glove on it, but it's going to bounce off. And there to get it is the shortstop, Aaron Takas, but call it an infield hit for Justin Antonzik. And now it's runners at the corners and 2 outs for Daniel McFarland. McFarland, he is 0 for 2 on the day. And it looks like there's going to be a meeting at the mound. Bubba Cates is going to come out and have a word with Pineda O'Donnell, and this very well could be it for the right-hander from New Jersey. And everyone coming out to this mound visit. And Pineda O'Donnell probably not the start he was looking for in his season debut, but looks like it's going to be up to John Kopicki, who's warming up in the bullpen. And if Bubba Cates is going to take the ball, he is spending a lot of time talking shop. He's either going over some kind of strategy here, or perhaps just stalling to give Kopicki a little bit more time to warm up. Umpires out there at the mound probably trying to hustle this thing along. And it looks like Bubba is going to give Pineda O'Donnell the opportunity to get out of this inning himself. It is Philip Tomasulo at third, Justin Antonzik at first. The batter, Daniel McFarland. McFarland is 0 for 2 on the day. He grounded out back to Michael Pineda O'Donnell in the first and lined out to right in the third, 0 for 2. He bats from the left side against the right-handed pitcher, Pineda O'Donnell. First pitch. And the runner goes, throw over to second. Going to be not in time, and that's going to bounce off the glove of the shortstop, Aaron Takas, and ricochet into right field. Coming home to score from third is Philip Tomasulo, and tack on another run to the Southern Ohio total. A double steal there with an error make the score 6-0. Southern Ohio. The struggles continue for this Xenia team. So Antonzik now at second. 1-0 pitch, fouled down the first base side, evens at the count 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Off the plate, moves the count 2-1. McFarland last night, he was all over the place. 2 for 2 at the plate. Hit by a pitch. Singled. Picked himself up an RBI. The sophomore center fielder. And 1-2 taken off the plate. And that one taken low. The count goes full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. With 2 outs here, a big pitch for Michael Pineda O'Donnell. The speedy Justin Antonzik over at second. He's already stolen a couple bases this season. It'll be interesting to see if anything in the gap here could bring him home to score. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and that one is popped up sky high. Foul territory, third base side. Chasing in is Joey Roddy. He will not be able to get there in time. We're going to have to do 3-2 all over again. And it is about 90 degrees outside. High 80s maybe. And for a guy like Michael Pineda O'Donnell, who probably just wants to get back in the dugout and grab some water, he has been absolutely laboring out here on the turf of Grady's Field in beautiful Xenia, Ohio. But here comes 3-2 again. 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. The pitch. And that one grounded off the ankle of Pineda O'Donnell. Ricochets over to first. Casserly is going to step on it. A very scary play, but Pineda O'Donnell jogs back into the dugout, and that is going to do it for the Copperheads in the top half of the fourth. 1 run on 1 hit, and 1 man left aboard. We have reached the middle of the fourth inning here at Grady's Field in Xenia. The Copperheads lead your Xenia Scouts by a score of 6-0. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You are listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Bottom of the fourth inning here in Xenia. The Scouts trailing by a score of 6-0, and it's going to be Kyle Casserly to the plate to lead things off for the Scouts in the home half of the fourth. Casserly, his first time up, went down looking. The 4th strikeout victim of Ocean Bane. First pitch fouled straight back into the screen. So 0-1 goes the count. Casserly, the Wright State Raider, by way of West Virginia University. And change up on 0-1, swung on and missed there by Casserly, and Ocean Bane continues to get ahead on these Scout hitters, attacking the zone early in these counts. Here's 0-2. That one in the dirt. Moves the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the 1-2 pitch taken off or outside part of the plate, a called strike 3, and that's going to be strikeout number 7 for Aaron Ocean Bane. And the Scouts continue to go down left and right. Joe Roddy up now. Roddy, his first time up, struck out swinging. First pitch fastball in there for a called strike. Roddy, the native of Boston, Massachusetts. And that one is grounded foul, third base line. All that's going to count for is a strike. So once again, Ocean Bane ahead on the Scouts hitters. 0-2 here with 1 out in the bottom of the fourth. The Scouts trail by a score of 6-0. Ocean Bane looks to the catcher, Dan McCauley. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and chasing there is Joe Roddy. It's going to be a drop, third strike, throw over to first. Going to be there easily. Out number 2 and strikeout number 8 for Ocean Bane, who is likely to enter into the league leaders in strikeouts following this game. And Donald Ring, who did not fill out a walk-up music thing, got a recorder version of the 21st Century Fox intro, courtesy of me. First pitch to Donald Ring, and that one is on the ground and into right. The diving second baseman gets in front of it, but not able to pick it up and throw it over to first. Call it an infield hit for Donald Ring, and I guess that walk-up song must have been some kind of good luck. Donald smiling over there at first base, and the Scouts with a 2-out base runner in Donald Ring. So now with 1 on and 2 out, it's going to be Aaron Takas to the plate. Takas, his last time up, A 4-3 ground out. That ended things back in the second inning. Ring, decent sized lead over at first. First pitch to Takas upstairs. Ball one. Ring, the Scouts' third base runner of the night. Check that fourth. He actually reached his first time up on a drop third strike. 1-0 pitch to Takas. In there for a called strike, evens up the count 1-1. With 2 away, the sun's beginning to set here at Grady's Field in beautiful Xenia, Ohio. 1-1. Fouled off. Third base side way out of play into the rolling hills. Takas now behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Takas, the native of Orlando, Florida. Florida, of course, a state plentiful with baseball talent. Breaking ball on 1-2 in the dirt. Evens things up 2-2. Takas, he bats from the left side against the righty Ocean Bane. Here's a 2-2 pitch, and that one taken just off the plate, very close there. Count's going to go full 3-2. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. And that one hit on the ground over towards second base. The second baseman, Marshall Smith, picks it up, throws on over to first in time for out number 3. So no runs on 1 hit and 1 man left aboard for the Scouts in the home half of the 4th. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You are listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. A new pitcher in for the Xenia Scouts as we go into the top of the 5th inning. It is John Kopicki. Kopicki from Houghton College in the great state of Ohio. He's going to face off against Matt Harrison, who hit a home run his last time up to lead things off. Kopicki, one of the bigger men you'll ever see on a baseball field, 6'5", 240. The righty from Centerville, Ohio. The 1-0 pitch taken up and away. Ball number 2. So quickly falling behind in this count 2-0 is the new pitcher, John Kopicki. Matt Harrison, 1 for 2 on the day, a fly out and a 2-run home run. And the 2-0 pitch in the dirt. The count's going to move 3-0. So John Kopicki quickly struggling to find the zone here as the Scouts, who trail by a score of 6-0 here, struggling to get anything going offensively. 3-0 pitch swung on and missed there by Harrison. A big swing And it looks like Harrison wanted to put that over the Grady's Field sign over there in right field. So 3-1 moves the count. 3-1. And that one is lined into center field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. So Matt Harrison with his second hit of the day, and the Southern Ohio Copperheads with the leadoff man aboard. So now Josh Fuel to the plate. Fuel. He bats from the right side against the right-handed pitcher, John Kopicki. Fuel swinging at the first pitch, going to foul that out of play left field side. 0-1 goes the count. Josh came around to score at least one time today. 1 for 2 on the day. Grounded out to second his first time up. A 1 pitch taken on the inside, evens at the count 1-1. Fuel, the native of Kokomo, Indiana. Played his past season at Heartland Community College, where he hit at a .366 mark. That's with 17 doubles, 3 triples, and 12 home runs. He grounds that one over towards second. The throw to second will be bobbled by the shortstop, Aaron Takis, who will not be able to hold on. So what looked like a tailor-made double play off the bat is going to end up being an error charged to the shortstop, Takis. And now instead of nobody on and 2 outs, John Kopicki is going to have to work with 2 on and nobody out. The batter now, Ty Sunken. First pitch to Sunken, breaking ball outside part of the plate, in there for a called strike. It has been a struggle all day for the Xenia Scouts, and didn't get off to too hot of a start when the first 6 scouts were struck out. 0-1. Swung on and missed. Change up there from Kopicki. Great pitch selection. Kopicki now ahead in the count, 0-2. Unlikely to give anything for the batter, Tyler Sunken, to hit. Sunken bats from the left side against the righty. The runner at second is Matt Harrison. Josh Fuel over at first. 0-2 pitch taken upstairs. Moves the count 1-2. It has been a difficult afternoon, but John Kopicki, in what is his first appearance of the season, and gets Tyler Sunken a swing and miss at the 1-2 changeup. Down he goes, the first strikeout of the day for John Kopicki. And that is out number 1 here in the top half of the 5th. Now it's going to be Dan McCauley to the plate. McCauley, the only other Southern Ohio Copperhead to strike out so far this game. He went down looking back in the top of the 2nd. 0 for 2 on the day. The previously mentioned strikeout, as well as a ground out over to third. First pitch, Kopicki gets him to swing and miss on something on the outside. Ahead in the count, 0-1 here, with 1 out in the top of the 5th. Decent-sized leads for both runners. An 0-1 upstairs. Evens things up 1-1. One, just low, a very close call. The umpire says it did not find the zone. And the 2-1 pitch washed upstairs yet again. The count's going to move 3 balls, 1 strike. Kopicki, who probably sitting there stressing about the double play ball that could have been, but unfortunately, baseball is a game where you got to just have some short memory. The 3-1 delivery, and that one is fouled out of play. On the first base side, it's going to make the count go full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. The batter, McCauley, an Ohio Bobcat. So not too much of a trip for him. As the Copperheads play on the campus of Ohio University, 3-2. He checks his swing. They say, did he go? He did not. So a walk issued by John Kopicki has loaded the bases. And now it's going to be Justin Kirkpatrick to the plate with the bases loaded and 1 out here. The Copperheads with an opportunity to blow this game wide open. And that one gets away from the catcher, Ackerman. Coming in to score on the wild pitch is Matt Harrison, and that's going to extend the Copperhead lead to 7-0. Score that one a wild pitch. So now it's runners at second and third with 1 out, and the Copperheads with no sign of slowing down. 1-0 pitch fouled out of play, first base side. Evens up the count, 1-1. The batter, Justin Kirkpatrick, he's 0 for 2 on the day. Flew out to the third baseman, or lined out to the first baseman, I should say, and then flew out to the left fielder, Jordan Lambert. So Kirkpatrick, who's now 1 for 6 on the season, looking to get those numbers up. He takes 0-1 in there for a called strike 2. So Kopicki now ahead in this count. And a punch out here, which would be his second of the day, would be a monumental step, because a fly out of any depth pretty much would be enough to bring home the runner, Josh Fuel, from third. Time is called there. No action in the bullpen for either side now. Pitching coach Corey Coob's going to stick with Kopicki here. 0-2, and that one breaking ball. A little bit of chin music diving out of the way is Kirkpatrick. But no contact there. Two balls, 2 strikes. With 1 out here in the top of the 5th. The pitch, and that one broken back grounder over towards third. The throw going to be in time over to first. Out number 2. Good job by the third baseman, Jilly Roddy, to hold the runners that are in scoring position exactly where they were. And kind of a scary moment there as that bat broke right about just down the middle with the Shards headed over towards third base. But mark that one as a 5-3 in your books for out number 2. And now with 2 runners in scoring position and 2 outs with the 9-hitter Marshall Smith to the plate, Kopicki can try to limit the damage here in this top half of the 5th inning. Pitch from Kopicki, and that one's grounded over towards second base. Beachy fields it on 1 hop, throw over to first in time for out number 3. So that's 1 run on 1 hit and 2 men left aboard. We have reached the middle of the 5th inning. Your Xenia Scouts trail the Southern Ohio Copperheads by a score of 7-0. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You are listening to the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. To the bottom of the fifth we go. Andrew Alix here alongside Gabe Genovesi. The Scouts trailing this one by a score of 7-0. Chris Ackerman to the plate to face off against Ocean Bane. First pitch here. That one going to be taken off the plate. Ball number 1. Ackerman, the catcher from Hillsdale College, watches 1-0 upstairs. Moves the count 2-0. And time is called there by Ackerman. He has come to the plate one time, a single. That was the first hit of the day for the Xenia Scouts. And Ackerman takes low and in. A called strike there, moves the count 2-1. Chris, he bats from the right side. 2-1. And Ackerman watches low and away. A 3-1 hitter's count now for the redhead from Michigan. Ackerman yesterday, he was 1 for 3 on the day. Also reached out on an error. 3-1. And that one is taken up and away. Ball 4. So the Scouts with the leadoff man aboard for the first time. Check that for the second time this evening. And now with one on and nobody out, it's going to be Francisco Ondina to the plate. Francisco, he flew out to center field his first time up yesterday. 0 for 2 on the day, but drew 3 walks. First pitch to Ondina. That one taken just upstairs, ball 1. Ondina, probably one of the shortest players you'll see in college baseball. I don't mean that in an offensive way, but a smaller strike zone may contribute to the amount of walks this guy can draw. 1-1, breaking ball upstairs. Count moves 2-0. So as I talk about his walk production last night, Ondina picks up 2. Gets ahead in the count 2-0, I should say. Ackerman, the runner at first, decent sized lead. Though a catcher probably not too likely to steal. 2-0 pitch to Ondina, off the plate. The count moves 3 balls and no strikes. With nobody out here in the home half of the 5th, the Scouts trying to inch their way back into this game. They are trailing by a score of 7-0. 3-0. And the 3-0 get me across pitch does just that. A called strike moves the count 3-1. Ondina from Spring Arbor College. Third baseman playing a little bit in. And the 3-1 pitch to Francisco taken off the plate, ball 4. So a couple of walks to start things off for the Scouts here in the home half of the 5th. And it's going to be back to the top of the order with Ben Beachy. Beachy, he singled to center field his last time up. 1 for 2 on the day, make that 2 for 6 on the season. For those of you that are good at math, that would be a .333 batting average for the middle infielder from Otterbein College. Beachy stands 6'2", 185. The native of Franklin, Ohio. This past spring, a .298 hitter. Drove in 26 RBIs. First pitch to Beachy. That one taken just upstairs, ball 1. So Ocean Bane clearly struggling to find the zone here a little bit in his 5th inning of work. He has allowed just 3 hits to the Xenia lineup all day. 1-0 pitch taken upstairs. The count moves 2-0. It is Ben Beachy at the plate. And the 2, 3, 4 hitters awaiting on deck. That's Jordan Lambert, Caden Owens, and Kyle Casserly. 2-0. Upstairs, ball 3. So the man who struck out the first 6 Xenia Scouts he faced, 8 overall on the day, is now hard-pressed to throw a strike. 3-0 here. Ocean Bane, he sets and delivers. And that one just finds the zone, a called strike 1. So to get me across, A little bit dangerous there. That was off the plate. But anyone who had observed what Ocean Bean had done in the last two batters would probably not have tried to swing on that 3-0 pitch. 3-1 now. And that one finds a zone, a called strike two. So as I say that he has trouble finding the strike zone, Ocean Bean a good job of working his way back into this count after falling behind 3-0. The count now 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody out here in the bottom of the fifth. The runner at second, Chris Ackerman. Francisco Ondina over at first. Ocean Bean, he looks to the catcher, Dan McCauley. He sets and delivers. Runners go, and that one plunks Ben Beachy on the back. A hit by pitch. And the Scouts, without getting a hit or even putting a ball in play in the home half of the fifth inning, have loaded the bases for the 2, 3, and 4 spot in their order. A meeting at the mound now for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. And if there was ever a time for the Scouts to find a way to inch their way back into this game, it would be right now with the heart of the order coming up. The bases loaded and nobody out. Remember, the Scouts, they trailed this one by a score of 7-0. So it is going to be no easy task to fight their way back into this one. But after what we saw last night with the Scouts, trailing by a score of 10-3, heading into the ninth inning, a 5-run ninth inning, Scouts ended up losing with the tying run at second base. But now it's Jordan Lambert to the plate. Lambert 0 for 2 on the day. He takes off the plate, ball 1. Lambert, he was 2 for 4 yesterday, a couple of RBIs, also hit by a pitch. And Lambert, who stands at 6'3", weighing in at 200 pounds, the native of Savannah, Tennessee, plays his college ball at the University of Tennessee Martin. And for those of you that have not heard of the University of Tennessee Martin, our manager in the 2016 Great Lakes League Manager of the Year, Bubba Cates, spent 13 seasons at the helm of that University of Tennessee Martin Skyhawk program. So a meeting at the mound here with Ocean Bean, who walked Ackerman and Ondina, then hit Beachy with a pitch, allowing the Scouts possibly a fighting chance in this contest. 1-0 the count now to Jordan Lambert. Lambert, he bats from the left side against the righty Ocean Bean. Ocean Bean looks to the catcher, Dan McCauley. He sets and delivers. And that one fastball outside part of the plate, a called strike, evens up the count 1-1. Ackerman at third, Ondina at second, and Ben Beachy at first. And the 1-1 pitch upstairs moves the count 2-1. Infield at regular depth, first base in. And that one looks like it almost looked like it plunked Jordan Lambert on the elbow, but instead the home plate umpire is going to say that Lambert actually just didn't fully check his swing, maybe fouled a piece of that off. Evens up the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes now. 2-2. Ocean Bean, he delivers. And Lambert grounds that one hard. Just a foul ball that hopped, basically tiptoeing the first base line. But unfortunately, the second hop that it took was in foul territory. So what could have ended up being possibly a bases clearing double ends up just being a foul ball. So we're going to do 2-2 all over again now. The base is loaded. Ocean Bean, the 2-2 pitch. And Lambert fouls that one out of play. Third base side, we're going to do 2-2 all over again. Caden Owens waits on deck. Kyle Casserly in the hole. The heart of this Xenia Scout order. 2-2. Swung on and missed. Got him on the changeup. make that strikeout number 9 for Ocean Bane, and a big first out now, especially with the bases loaded. A double play ball could get him out of this inning unscathed completely. But now it's Caden Owens to the plate. Owens, he struck out his first time up, flew out to third his second time to the plate. But last night we saw Owens, a guy who plays baseball at the Division I program of Oral Roberts, a team that made it to the regionals this year, defeating Oklahoma State in the NCAA tournament. And Owens hacks at first pitch. That one's in the air towards left field. The left fielder, Antonzik, chasing after it. Ackerman's going to try to tag up, but unfortunately, he's going to realize that he would be dead in the water if he wanted to. So mark that down as an F7 in your books. And what was just a few seconds ago, bases loaded, no out. Now bases loaded, 2 outs. And the man at the plate, Kyle Casserly. Casserly, not the most successful day at the plate thus far, but perhaps an opportunity for the first baseman to redeem himself. Casserly 0 for 2 on the day. A pair of strikeouts, both of them looking. The one-time West Virginia Mountaineer, now turned Wright State Raider, teammate of Jorge Lozano at the Horizon League program, based out of Beaver Creek, Ohio, just a couple of miles down the road. First pitch, wild pitch, but not too wild. The catcher, McCauley, is going to just shuffle over a few steps. Pick that one up. Ackerman never really strongly considering trying to make a break for it. A little meeting at the mound between Ocean Bane and the catcher, McCauley. The count 1-0 here. The runner at third, Ackerman. The runner at second, Ondina. The runner at first is Ben Beachy. There are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Scouts trailing 7-0 at the hands of their rivals, the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that one does get away from the catcher, McCauley. Coming home to score is going to be Chris Ackerman. And on a wild pitch, the Scouts are on the board. So just like that, 7-0 turns 7-1. All the runners advance. So now Beachy at second, Ondina at third. And anything in the gap here with 2 outs and all the runners going could bring home both of the Xenia Scouts runners, both of which are in scoring position. 2-0 the count to Kyle Casserly. Here's the pitch. And Casserly lifts that one high in the air to center field. The center fielder, Daniel McFarland, is chasing over. He's called off by the left fielder, Justin Antonzik, who makes the grab for out number 3. No runs, or check that, 1 run on no hits, and 2 men left aboard for the Xenia Scouts in the home half of the 5th. We have played 5 innings here at Grady's Field in beautiful Xenia, Ohio. The Scouts trail the Southern Ohio Copperheads by a score of 7-1. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back, and let me tell you, plenty of baseball left to play. You are listening to the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. And we are back here in what is now the top of the 6th inning at Grady's Field. The Scouts got themselves on the board. It's going to be John Kapicki back out to the mound here in the top of the 6th. He is facing off against Philip Tomasulo. 1-0 pitch to Tomasulo. That one finds the lower outside part of the zone. Called strike 1, evens up the count, 1 ball, 1 strike, and it looks like the throw back to Kapicki. He couldn't hold on and has to cover a little ground over there, pick that one up. Kapicki probably has the best, by the way, warm-up song on the team. He warms up to Elton John's classic Rocket Man, in parentheses, and I think it's going to be a long, long time. Change up there from Kapicki, swung on and missed by Tomasulo. Kapicki finds himself ahead in this count. 1 ball, 2 strikes now, with nobody out here in the top of the 6th, and the Scouts trailing by a score of 7-1. Kapicki looks to the catcher, Ackerman. He delivers the 1-2 pitch. Big. Looks like it was trying to be a breaking ball, missing pretty much not just upstairs, maybe a couple flights upstairs. Evens at the count 2-2. 2-2 from Kapicki. And that one up and away once again. The count's going to move full. Tomasulo, the Buffalo Bull. But as we discussed in the previous broadcast, the Buffalo Bulls are a baseball program no longer. And he is going to be looking for a new home in the spring. Has he found one?
I do not believe he has.
All right, that's Gabe Genovesi, my broadcast partner. You'll hear from Gabe in the 7th through 9th. And pitch there from Kapicki. Finds the zone, a called strike 3. John Kapicki gets Philip Tomasulo on the strikeout. Kapicki's 2nd strikeout of the day. And now it's going to be Justin Antonzik to the plate. Antonzik, 2 for 2 on the day, has also drawn a walk. Came home to score back in the 3rd inning. First pitch to Antonzik, fouled straight back. Ahead in the count is John Kapicki, 0-1 here with 1 away. Antonzik, the Michigan State Spartan. I have inside information, actually, that former Michigan State Spartan Kirk Cousins was playing golf with Donald Trump this morning. And that is straight from a caddy on the course. Giving you the information the media does not want you to know. Gabe, you think Kirk Cousins is going to re-sign with the Redskins?
If you're the Redskins, you better hope he resigns.
Well, as a Redskins fan, I certainly do. 1 ball, 1 strike now. To not Kirk Cousins, but Justin Antonzik, a different Michigan State Spartan. Here's the pitch, and that one, a grounder over towards first. Casserly is going to pick it up, step on the bag, take it himself, mark it down as a 3 unassisted in your book. 2 batters have come to the plate to face John Kapicki here in the top half of the 6th inning, and 2 have been sat down. Now it's going to be the very dangerous 3, possibly 4 or 5 spots in the order for the Southern Ohio Copperheads club. The batter now, Daniel McFarland. McFarland actually 0 for 3 on the day after a 2 for 2 afternoon yesterday. First pitch, inside part of the plate, called strike. McFarland, a pair of lineouts and a ground out. 0-1. Breaking ball, just high. Evens up the count, a ball and a strike here with 2 outs. And it looks like the zone is collapsing here. The 1-1 pitch, which looked like it could have been smack dab in the middle of the zone there. Called just, maybe not in the middle of the zone, but somewhere on target, called high. So now it's 2-1. And the 2-1 pitch grounded right back at Kapicki. He's going to underhand toss it to Kyle Casserly over at first for out number 3. Mark it down as a 3-1 in your books and a 1-2-3 inning for John Kapicki. So no runs on no hits and nobody left aboard. And we're going to try to get you the out-of-town scoreboard here. And let's see what we have. It's the bottom of the 8th, and the St. Clair Green Giants, that's of St. Clair, Canada, lead the Grand River Loggers by a score of 11-10. In the top of the 7th, the Lorain County Ironmen lead the Lima Locos by a score of 7-5. In the bottom of the 5th inning, it's the Licking County Settlers leading the Cincinnati Steam by a score of 5-4. The Lake Erie Monarchs and the Muskegon Clippers are all locked up at 4 in the top of the 6th. And here's a surprising one for you, kids. The Richmond Jazz lead the Hamilton Joes by a score of 6-2. You know our score here. The Southern Ohio Copperheads lead us by a score of 7-1. And last but not least, the Grand Lake Mariners lead the Galion Graders by a score of 1-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Now remember, Xenia Scouts are all over social media, Gabe, and let's see. I'm going to give you a quiz. Gabe's new here in Xenia. Gabe, what's our Twitter?
At Xenia Scouts.
That is correct. Where could you find us on Facebook?
Oh, I believe it's Xenia Scouts.
That would be correct. And here's a difficult one. What is our official website?
XeniaScouts.com.
And that is www.xeniascouts.com. Check it out for all your official Xenia Scouts updates all season long. And of course, you can hear every single game broadcasted live on the Xenia Scouts radio network, which can be found on the internet at youtube.com. Xenia Scouts Radio. Link is on the website. I'm telling you, it is quite easy to get a hold of me and Gabe. Looks like we got a new pitcher warming up for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. And with their camo uniforms, it's really hard to tell what number that guy is wearing. Gabe, can you see it?
No.
That's number 14.
14.
All right. So number 14. That's Derek Carr. Derek Carr, the Ohio University Bobcat, the 6'1 lefty, heading into his sophomore year. He appeared in 3 games, 4 innings pitched, 9 earned runs. He walked 6 and struck out 4 with the Bobcats this past season. He'll face Joey Roddy as the first scout he will see here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 7-1 Copperheads is the score. First pitch to Roddy finds the outside part of the zone, a called strike. And the 0-1 pitch also finds the zone again. So 0-2 goes the count. 0-2. In there for a called strike 3. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and Joey Roddy never even swinging the bat there. So the 10th strikeout of the day for Copperheads pitching, the first for Derek Carr. And Donald Ring to the plate. Donald Ring. He has reached base both times he's come up. One of them on a drop third strike, so he did get credited a strikeout there. And he singled his last time up. And first pitch way upstairs, and as they would say in the movie Major League, just a bit outside. Donald Ring watches that one fly about 10 feet over his head. And the count 1-0 now. 1-0. Inside, the count moves 2-0. Ring, this past season at Hillsdale College, set his school record for home runs. That was 17 in a single season. And that one in the dirt, ball 3. So Derek Carr, after sailing 3 straight pitches to Joey Roddy, all of which were taken. A 3-pitch strikeout. Now can't seem to find the zone here against Donald Ring. 3 balls, no strikes with 1 out. Ring awaits. And that one up and in, ball 4. So Donald Ring has reached base for the 3rd time this evening. And it's going to be 1 on and 1 out for Aaron Takas. Aaron Takas has come to the plate twice so far tonight. Both of those at-bats resulting in a 4-3 ground out. Takas, a very impressive spring, hitting above 400 at Korean University in Pennsylvania. Ring, a big lead over at first. Pitch. Upstairs, ball 1. 5 straight balls thrown by the pitcher, Derek Carr. Of course, not to be confused with Oakland Raiders starting quarterback Derek Carr. Not that I would assume any of you were confused, but it's always good to clarify things, right, Gabe?
Hey, Derek Carr could be here.
1-0 pitch. Breaking ball. That one finds the zone. Curveball outside part of the plate. A called strike. Evens things up 1-1.
He's not in OTAs right now. He's on the mound here in Xenia.
I mean, he's not a professional baseball player technically. He does qualify to play if he were to enroll in 1 or 2 college courses. Pickoff move over to first. Not going to get there in time. Trying to keep Donald Ring honest. Ring with a pretty decent sized lead for a catcher. And knowing Donald Ring on a very personal level, seeing him play baseball for an entire season, he's not that much of a threat to steal a base. But I don't think the guy on the mound knows that necessarily, and Ring probably just trying to toy with him a little bit. That one grounded over towards third base. Third baseman goes to second for 1. The throw to first for 2 is going to be not in time, so mark it down as a fielder's choice. Takas safe over at first on the fielder's choice. Ring out at second. And It's 1 on and 2 out now. And it's going to be Chris Ackerman to the plate. Ackerman is 1 for 1 on the day. He reached on a single back in the third, walked in the home half of the fifth, ended up coming around to score the only Scouts run of the day on a wild pitch. So Ackerman, 2 for 4 on the season. That's a mean 500 batting average. Very small sample size, of course. Pickoff move over to first, not going to get Ring. First baseman can't even hold on to it, but it drops right in front of him, so Ring with no opportunity to advance over to second base. Derek Carr looks to the catcher, McCauley. Big curveball taken up and away. Ball number 1. So 1-0 goes the count here. We are in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Southern Ohio Copperheads lead your Scouts by a score of 7-1. 1 ball, no strikes with 2 outs. Aaron Takas over at first. Pickoff move. Takas slides back in there safely. Francisco Undina awaits on deck. Breaking ball to Ackerman. Clips the outside part of the zone, a called strike. The fans don't like it. That's going to even up the count of ball and a strike. Ackerman, the Hillsdale College Charger. And we can go on and on and on about the Hillsdale Chargers that have donned the Xenia Scout uniform these past couple years. Changeup swung on and missed there. Ackerman now finds himself behind in this count, 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Derek Carr looks over to Takas, who's taking a big lead over at first. And time is called now. Well, here's what we haven't seen so far today. We haven't seen a balk. We've seen a couple of hit-by pitches. Last night's opening game, we saw just about everything you can. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and Ackerman's going to foul that one straight back into the screen. We're going to do 1-2 all over again. The Scouts got to get something going if they want to have a chance in this game. Takas leads at first. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and swung on and missed there by Ackerman. Strike 3, and that is going to do it for the Scouts in the bottom of the 6th. No runs on no hits, and 1 man left aboard. We have played 6 innings of baseball here in Xenia, and the Scouts trail the Southern Ohio Copperheads by a score of 7-1. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
Back here for the top of the 7th in Xenia, Ohio at Grady's Field. The Xenia Scouts trailed the Southern Ohio Copperheads 7-1 as we head to the 7th inning. John Kopicki still in relief for the Scouts. And a huge pop fly out the shallow left field. The shortstop Takis goes back and makes the play. And Matt Harrison is retired for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Josh Fuel for the Copperheads. Fuel tonight, 1 for 2 and has reached on an error. His one hit was a double back in the 3rd inning. And now he ropes one to center field. It lands just in front of Francisco Ondina in center field, and Fuel has his 2nd hit of this game, and that'll bring up Ty Sunken for the Copperheads. Sunken 1 for 3 today, an RBI single back in the 3rd inning. Popped out to the second baseman Beachy in the 2nd. The RBI single came in the 3rd, and a strikeout as a ground ball towards short, and the Scouts will just miss turning 2. They get the force out at 2nd. However, Sunken beats it out and is safe at 1st, so there's 2 down here in the top of the 7th. And that'll bring up Dan McCauley for the Copperheads. McCauley tonight, 0 for 2 with a walk. And Kopicki's first pitch is inside for a ball. The runner stealing is safe at second base. Oh, Ben Beachy wanted the call. He started to jog off the field. And Bubba Cates is quickly going to come out to argue this one. Chris Ackerman behind the plate made a good throw down to second, but Sunken must have slid around the tag. And the Copperheads have a runner in scoring position with 2 down here in the 7th inning. Dan McCauley will be a sophomore at Ohio University next year. Stands in and calls time as John Kopicki is taking his time on the mound. Getting the signal. McCauley, 6 foot, 200 pounds, a native of Sewickley, Pennsylvania. And he swings through a first pitch off speed pitch from Kopicki. The count is 1-1, excuse me. It was the second pitch of the at-bat. The 1-1. Grounded towards third, but foul, and a broken bat that flies all the way out to shortstop, and the count will be 1-2.
And that's why you got to keep your head on a swivel there out on the base paths in this wood bat league. A lot of these guys not used to that, but, there is some danger involved in that for sure. As that broken bat basically breaking right between kind of the short end and the thick end of the barrel, kind of like a spear fashion, ricocheting over towards the shortstop. Luckily, no one is hurt, and all that does is put Kopicki ahead in this count, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
7-1, the Copperheads lead over the Scouts here in the top of the 7th. 10 hits for Southern Ohio, only 3 for the Scouts. The runner on second is Sunken for the Copperheads. The batter, McCauley. And John Kopicki taking his time on the mound. And McCauley will call time once again. Kopicki in no rush up on the rubber. Now the 1-2 pitch. Low and outside. A good block from Ackerman. He'll fake a throw down to second. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dan McCauley. One run in the first inning for the Copperheads, 4 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth. none in the 6th, and the 2-2 pitch from Kopecky is high. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Scouts got 1 in the bottom of the 5th. And it's 7-1 Southern Ohio. The 3-2 fouled off. Out of do the 3-2 pitch. Dan McCauley, part of the Ohio Bobcat team that won the Mid-American Conference this past season. Ohio went to the regionals and lost to Kentucky and Indiana as Kopecky gets a strikeout to end the 7th inning. And that'll bring the Scouts up to the plate down by 6. Copperheads 7, Scouts 1. They're going to need a little bit of a rally. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Back here for the bottom of the 7th at Grady's Field. Gabe Genovesi here with you alongside my partner Andrew Alix on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. 7-1 is the Copperhead lead over the Scouts as Francisco Ondina steps to the plate for Xenia and takes a ball off the outside edge. I believe it's still Derek Carr on the mound for the Copperheads. Carr, the lefty, winds and deals. A fastball up and out, 2 balls and no strikes to Ondina. Derek Carr, also part of that Bobcat team, the Ohio Bobcats that won the Mid-American Conference this past year. Just to finish my thought from last inning, they lost to Kentucky, then they lost to Indiana in the regionals, and that did it for the Bobcats. And the 2-0 pitch to Ondina is a ball inside, 3-0. Coming out of high school, Licking Valley High School, Derek Carr was the 9th best left-handed pitcher in the 2016 class in the state of Ohio. And the 4th pitch is a ball low to Ondina. And Francisco Ondina, the walk king thus far this year. 3 walks last night. He has his 2nd walk tonight.
I'm telling you, it could have something to do with the height. It could have something to do with the height. I would not be surprised if that factors into it.
And that'll bring up the top of the order, Ben Beachy. Beachy 1 for 2 tonight with an infield single. He was also hit by a pitch, so he's been on base twice. The move over toward first base by Carr. Ondina back easily. And is Still nothing count on Ben Beachy. 7-1 is the Copperhead lead over the Scouts here in the bottom of the 7th. And Odina is going to take off. He's fast. They pick over to first and waiting for a call.
Looks like they're going to say he got in there safely.
I didn't even see a safe call. Did he call a balk on Carr? And Phil Butler, the manager of this Copperhead team,
whatever it was,
he didn't really have anything to argue.
He
he just asked what it was and walked back to the dugout. So Ondina moves up to second. Sadly, we're not quite sure whether it's a stolen base or a balk. But Ben Beachy at the plate still hasn't seen a pitch.
A long wait for old Beachy here. A runner in scoring position and nobody out for the Scouts. An opportunity to really get something going here.
Carr looks at second and will go back to Ondina at second once again. Beachy has to be just waiting at the plate like, come on, man, throw me a pitch.
It's got to be somewhat nerve-wracking on his side of things.
Ben Beachy this past year, Otterbein University hit .298 with runners in scoring position. Ondina on second right now, none out, bottom of the 7th. Scouts down 7-1 to the Copperheads, and Beachy finally sees a pitch below his knees for ball 1.
I think as much as it is probably, annoying for the hitter Beachy, but for the pitcher to just be standing up there for probably about 2 minutes without throwing a pitch, it's a pretty difficult situation for the lefty who's struggling for consistency already.
And Beachy will call time now as Derek Carr took a long look at Ondina. One ball, no strikes to Ben Beachy. The native of Franklin, Ohio. The 1-0. Way high and outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Beachy. Ondina. Very speedy on second base. Anything to the outfield, any base hits to the outfield will probably score Francisco Ondina.
Big gaps here at Grady's Field. Very much a pitcher's park.
The 2-0 pitch to Ben Beachy. And now they're going to call a balk.
So if there wasn't a balk before, there certainly was a balk now. And just like that, Ondina, who reaches on a walk, either advanced 2 bases on balks or a steal and a balk, but Scouts have not put a ball in play yet, and they got a runner over at third.
So Ondina now on third. And I said the 2-0 pitch because Derek Carr looked at second and looked like he was about to deliver a pitch. And instead, they call a balk. And now Ben Beachy checks his swing on the 2-0, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to the leadoff batter for the Scouts. 7-1 Copperheads lead, bottom of the 7th here at Grady's Field. The home opener for the Xenia Scouts in this 2017 campaign.
A nice crowd here at Grady's Field. Really picked up towards the end, I must say.
The 2-1, and Beachy swings through a curveball. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Anything in the outfield, any long fly ball should be enough to bring home the speedy Ondina over at third. Scouts have been hard-pressed to bring runs home all day, and it's all about execution at this point.
Ondina on third, Beachy the batter. The 2-2 pitch. A curveball. Beachy swings and misses once again. Of course, he's not happy with himself there. 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th, and that'll bring up Jordan Lambert for the Scouts. Lambert 0 for 3 tonight. He struck out twice in the 1st and the 5th inning. He grounded out to the second baseman, Marshall Smith, in the 3rd. And we'll have a lefty-on-lefty matchup here. That's Derek Carr, the lefty, Jordan Lambert, the lefty. And a curveball's in there on the inside edge for strike 1.
Close pitch there to Lambert.
Lambert this week was just so excited to start playing ball, be in the starting lineup this summer as he takes the ball low and away. As we've talked about his history a little, he only played in 5 games for the Tennessee Martin Skyhawks this past year. Excuse me, it was 4 games. He got 5 at-bats for the Tennessee Martin Skyhawks. Went 1 for 5 in those 5 at-bats. Now the 1-1 is a curveball that hits Lambert on the front shoulder. He quickly tosses his bat toward the dugout. You can tell he's just happy to be on base. And the Scouts have runners on first and third with 1 out here in the 7th, and that'll bring up Caden Owens for the Scouts.
Still looking for Owens to emulate what we saw yesterday with that hard double in the gap first pitch that he saw in his Great Lakes Baseball League career. And looks like there's a little action brewing and a visit to the mound to see Derek Carr here. And it's going to be a pitching change for the Southern Ohio Copperheads here. And we're just going to take a quick moment to plug the fact that for those of you that are Scouts fans that don't always make it to the game, or parents of some of the Scouts who are just dying to get your hands on some Xenia Scouts gear, well, the time is now. The Xenia Scouts are going to have a gear sale, big blowout gear sale on June 18th. That is a week from Sunday. Yeah, a week from
Yes,
Sunday.
sir.
That's a game against the Cincinnati Steam. And that sale will take place from 3 to 6 here at Grady's Field in beautiful Xenia, Ohio. So Scouts gear, not easy to get. You pretty much have to play for the Scouts in order to get it. But this is a limited opportunity, once in a lifetime perhaps, to get your hands on some Xenia Scouts gear. And for the second time in as many nights, we are going to see Hunter Sexton on the mound for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Gabe, what do you have on Hunter Sexton?
Hunter Sexton, as you mentioned, he did pitch an inning last night as well. The righty goes to Marshall University. He will be a sophomore at Marshall. With the Thundering Herd last year, 7.60 ERA, 4-1 in 24 appearances. Pitched 34 1/3 innings, gave up 29 earned runs, 23 walks, and 36 strikeouts for Sexton. Opponents batted .252 versus the sophomore righty. And with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th, the Scouts have runners on first and third, down 7-1 to the Copperheads. And up to the plate is Caden Owens for the Scouts. You mentioned the double that Owens hit last night. Talking to Owens after the game, his exact words were, "I've been waiting 2.5 years for that." Caden Owens has had some unlucky injury history. He had Tommy John surgery in December of 2015, and that's not even the start of it. That was his 3rd or 4th surgery on his throwing arm. And then off the Tommy John, he had a bone spur in his left arm as well. So he didn't get in at bat at all 2 seasons ago. And then coming into this season, 5 days before the start of the regular season, he breaks his arm in 6 different pieces, just snapped his arm. Fortunately, it recovered quickly than they thought it would, and he was able to play in 9 games for Oral Roberts this past season as he takes a ball high. He made 9 appearances, but only 5 at the plate. He went 1 for 5 with an RBI in those plate appearances. And he said, "I've been waiting 2.5 years for that double." And now he swings and fouls one back as the runner at first, Jordan Lambert, was going. He'll have to go back to first base, and it'll be 1-1.
And fans you got to remember that just yesterday the Scouts with a 5-run comeback in the top half of the 9th inning. So with these Scouts, it's never say die, never say never.
7-1, the Copperheads lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Runners on the corners. The 1-1 pitch to Caden Owens. Lambert will go again. They pitch out. The throw down to second. Lambert is waiting for a call, and there's a drop ball. The shortstop, Justin Kirkpatrick, dropped the ball. Lambert's safe at second. The runner on third, forgive me, I'm forgetting who was on third, Francisco Ondina, comes home to score, and it is 7-2 Copperheads.
So the Scouts now with a runner in scoring position, down by just 5.
So the Copperheads saw it coming. McCauley called for a pitch out. And he made the throw, but shortstop Kirkpatrick dropped the ball. And now Owens skies one high towards foul territory, toward the Xenia Scouts dugout, and the catch is made by third baseman Sunken, and Owens just looks out toward the field like, I just can't catch a break today. Caden Owens is now 0 for 4. And there's 2 down here in the 7th. And that'll bring up Kyle Casserly for the Scouts. Casserly stands in 0 for 3 today. He was 0 for 3 with a walk yesterday as well. And the curveball drops in there for strike 1. Lambert stands on second. A base hit will probably score Jordan Lambert. The Scouts down 7-2 here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. And Lambert's going to take off for third. McCauley, the throw. It's just wide. Lambert dives head first. He tries to get up and go. Instead, he trips over the base and will stay at third.
It almost looks like, I guess he did trip over the base there. But if he had been able to keep his footing, there would have been a very, very close play at home plate. But Jordan Lambert continues to show that he is just an absolute athlete out there. He talks about how in his JUCO days, he was a two-sport guy, and that speed evident out there on the base path.
It would have been a very, very close play. Justin Antonzik in left field. We've already seen him throw a ball to the plate in this game as Casserly takes a curveball on the outside edge for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to Kyle Casserly. 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th. Jordan Lambert stands on third. The 0-2 pitch. And Casserly watches it bounce. It's a wild pitch, and Lambert scores. So the Scouts get 2 runs here in the bottom of the 7th, and they've cut the deficit to 4. Copperheads 7, Scouts 3.
And Jordan Lambert just doing it himself out there, I must say.
Casserly with a 1 ball and 2 strike count on him. The power lefty who goes to Wright State looking for his first hit of the year, and he won't get it. A swing and a miss, strike 3, and that'll do it for the Scouts in the 7th. Xenia gets 2 runs on a walk and a hit by pitch. Some good base running from Francisco Ondina and Jordan Lambert. Cut the Copperheads deficit to 4, 7-3. The Scouts trail. We'll be right back on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Back here for the top of the 8th at Grady's Field. The Xenia Scouts 2017 home opener. 7-3 is the Copperhead lead over the Scouts as we head to the top of the 8th. Justin Kirkpatrick, the 8-hole hitter for the Copperheads, comes up to bat first. He slices one down the first baseline. Kopicki makes the play off the mound, fires to first, and retires Kirkpatrick. Marking a 1-3 in your books. And there's 1 down here in the 8th. And that'll bring up Marshall Smith for the Copperheads. He's 0 for 3 tonight. A ground out to the first baseman, 2 ground outs to the second baseman. And now he tries to lay down a bunt, but it goes foul. No balls and 1 strike. Copperheads, of course, won last night's game 10-8. But the Scouts were down 10-3 going into the ninth, and they scored 5 in the last frame. And their late rally fell just short. Well, we're looking at about the same scenario tonight. Top of the eighth, the Copperheads lead 7-3 this time instead of 10-3. And we're going to see if Kopicky can keep zeros on the boards for Southern Ohio. And the curveball drops in there for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to Marshall Smith.
And what an impressive outing we've seen from Kopicky thus far. Coming in long relief, being able to put up mostly zeros on the board, allowing 1 run. I believe that run will be unearned because of the error on the possible double play ball. I can't guarantee that right now, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly. So he has 0 earned runs and, just a very impressive outing in relief for a guy who, there may be a lot of questions about his control and if he can get out of this inning unscathed.
The 1-2 is high and outside for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Marshall Smith. Smith, a junior from Western Kentucky, hit .243 in his sophomore campaign. He's had a crazy college baseball experience as well. He attended IMG Academy for a year after high school. Then he went to San Diego State for his freshman year. And, the scoreboard was wrong, so that was a 3-2 pitch instead of a 2-2 pitch. And Marshall Smith walks and is on base for the first time today.
Second walk of the day issued by Kopicky.
So Marshall Smith is on base. Just to finish up that story real fast, he transferred to Brunswick Community College after playing D1 ball at San Diego State. And at Brunswick, he hit .314, and his team finished 7th in the JUCO World Series. And then last year, he goes to Western Kentucky and bats .243. This summer, he's with the Southern Ohio Copperheads, and he walked here in the 8th, and that'll bring up Philip Tomasulo. The top of the order for the Copperheads here in the 8th, and Kopicky throws one right over the back of Tomasulo, and the speedy runner is going to try to go to third, and he's out. The runner, Smith, tries to go from first to third. He is out, and there's 2 down here in the 8th.
And it looks like the crowd almost had a role in that. Ackerman picking up the wild pitch, assuming that maybe the runner advanced to second, and then you hear the crowd yell third. Ackerman turns, rockets it over to third. The third baseman, Roddy, lays down the tag and out by a mile. Heads up play there by Ackerman, and good job by the crowd to stay involved in the game.
And what a strategy from Kopicky, just throwing it right over the back of the batter.
I mean, with this guy, if you understood his personality, you might realize, it's tough. It's tough, but this guy's got all kinds of personality. He might be the kind of guy to plan that.
The 2-0 pitch is swung on and missed by Tomasulo. 2 balls and 1 strike to the leadoff batter for the Copperheads, who is 2 for 3 today with a hit by pitch. So he's been on base 3 out of the 4 times today. Kopicky taking his time on the mound, and another time called by Philip Tomasulo. You'll realize that a lot from batters against John Kopicky, at least from these few innings we've seen him today. He takes his time with his signal, and now a curveball fouled off down the first baseline, 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's patient. He waits. When he gets the pitch he wants called, he'll go from there.
Certainly.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Philip Tomasulo, a 7-3 lead for the Copperheads here in the top of the 8th. 2 down, and once again, Tomasulo calls time. And strike 3 called on the outside corner on the 2-2 pitch from Kopicky. And that'll do it for the Copperheads here in the 8th. The Scouts are going to have to pull out their rally caps once again, down 7-3 heading into the bottom half. We'll be right back on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Back here for the bottom of the 8th at Grady's Field. Gabe Genovesi here with you alongside my partner Andrew Alix on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. 7-3 is the Copperhead lead over the Scouts as we head to the bottom of the 8th. But I'll tell you what, these fans just got into it big time.
Well, absolutely. And, these people are happy to have their Xenia Scouts back after such a successful season last year. And we saw what they can do with the rally last night and hoping that these guys can get it together now. It's Joey Roddy, Donald Ring, and Aaron Takas to the plate here in the home half of the 8th.
Roddy up to the plate, takes a ball high and away. He struggled tonight, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts for Joey Roddy. He went 0 for 3 with a walk last night as well. Did hit a couple balls hard last night, but he swings through a pitch here, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Roddy, a very talented guy, just still looking for that elusive first hit of his Great Lakes League career. The wood bat, not an issue, though, for Roddy. He said he played in a high school wood bat league in conference. Out of conference was metal bat, however.
The 1-1, and Roddy fouls one off behind the plate, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that's kind of the same with Kyle Casserly, too. We know he's a guy that has power. Big guy, transferred from West Virginia to Wright State, and Casserly, right in front of the order, or right in front of Roddy in the order, is also now 0 for 7 combined on the year with the walk. The 1-2, Roddy swings through a pitch on the outside edge, and that'll be strike 3. So Joey Roddy, just a rough night, 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. And that'll bring up Donald Ring for the Scouts. Ring 1 for 2 today, but he has reached base all 3 times. Donald Ring struck out in the 2nd, but he reached base on a drop 3rd strike. Then he singled in the 4th and walked in the 6th. The first pitch to Ring, a curveball that misses inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Donald Ring last season with the Xenia Scouts, he's one of 3 returners. Batted .207, a .280 on-base percentage. And now he ropes one up the middle for a single. Donald Ring has himself his 2nd hit of the game. And the Scouts have a runner aboard with 1 down.
And looking at the work Ring has done today, I mean, even with the drop 3rd strikeout, you can't give too much credit for him there, but just finding ways to get on base, whether it be with a couple of singles. And, a lot of people expected him to come in and, be swinging for the fences, trying to hit balls in the air. But with the Ring, it looks like he's making that adjustment, knowing that he's in a wood bat league, not a metal bat league, and he's not going to hit 17 home runs.
The first pitch now to Aaron Takas is low and outside. 1-0 to Takas, who is 0 for 2 today, and he has reached on a fielder's choice. Ring on first base. The Copperheads lead the Scouts 7-3 here in the 8th, and Takas takes a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike to the now sophomore from Cairn University. Takas had one heck of a freshman year for the Highlanders, batted .409 in his school season. And now he watches an off-speed pitch at the knees, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ring on first, the Scouts badly needing some runs, down by 4. Derek Carr still on the mound for the Copperheads. The 1-2 pitch to Takas, grounded towards second base. The play made and flipped over to first. So Takas is retired. That's his 3rd ground out to second base this evening. But the runner Ring moves up to second with 2 down. And that'll bring up Chris Ackerman for the Scouts. Ackerman 1 for 2 tonight. He singled back in the 3rd inning. Also reached on a walk in the 5th and came around to score. Struck out his last time up in the 6th. Now looking to come through with a runner in scoring position with 2 down here in the 8th. The first pitch to Ackerman, low, a good block by McCauley behind the plate, 1 ball and no strikes. Ackerman, the righty. Ring, his college teammate, on second. The 1-0 pitch. Low and away for ball 2. Sadly, I don't have that stat. I wonder if it ever happened where Ackerman hit in rain at Hillsdale.
I would venture to say it did. Maybe. Because when Ackerman was catching, Ring would play first.
So there were games where they both played.
Yes. And it was actually the sense of how the substitution was working. It would shift Lottenville, Ring, and Ackerman. So if Ackerman came in, Ring would move to first, and Lottenville would move from one spot in the outfield to the other. So that's a Xenia Scouts
Trio right there.
Trio. That's a little shift there.
We count 3-0 to Ackerman, and he watches a fastball right down the middle for strike 1. A get me over fastball works, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike to Ackerman. The Hillsdale College Charger. His Charger teammate Donald Ring on second. 7-3 Copperhead lead over the Scouts. Bottom of the 8th, 2 down. The 3-1 pitch. And Ackerman swings through a fastball low and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
It looks like Ackerman might have swung at ball 4 there.
3-2, 2 outs. Donald Ring will be taking off from second base. So a base hit to the outfield should easily score. Ring. Ackerman waves the bat above his shoulder. The 3-2 pitch is low. And Ackerman's on first. Ring will stay on second. And that'll bring up Francisco Odina.
Odina has already drawn 5 walks in 2 games this season. That is a stat and a half. I believe that the league leader in walks coming into today had 6 walks through 4 games.
I was about to say, I know he had 6 walks. I wasn't sure how many games he had played. 2 on, 2 out for Ondina. And the first pitch is low in the dirt for ball 1. Francisco Ondina, by the way, walked 20 times total in his school season.
Well, 1/4 of the way there through 1 in like 80%. And unless this game goes into extra innings, you never know.
The 1-0 is low and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Francisco.
He's halfway there.
Ondina flew out to center field in the 3rd inning. And as my partner mentioned, walked in the 5th, walked in the 7th. The 2-0 pitch to Ondina. Right down the middle. He takes a big hack, but just misses. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And that was the pitch to hit right there. They gave it to him. Unfortunately, Ondina not able to capitalize.
And if you're Ondina, that's exactly what you're looking for.
Definitely.
You've walked 5 times. You're ahead in the count all the time. You want your pitch right down the middle, and Derek Carr gave it to him there. Unfortunately, no contact. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ondina. And this time he grounds one toward the second baseman, Smith. Smith picks it up and fires over to first to retire the Scouts in the 8th. Nothing doing for the Scouts on 1 hit and a walk. They leave 2 stranded and will head to the 9th with Xenia trailing 7-3 to the Southern Ohio Copperheads. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. 7-3, the Copperheads lead over the Xenia Scouts as we head to the 9th here at Grady's Field for the home opener here for the 2017 Xenia Scouts. 7 runs on 10 hits for the Copperheads, 3 runs on 4 hits for the Scouts. And Justin Antonzik at the plate for Southern Ohio. He takes a ball high from new pitcher Caden Owens for Xenia. I've mentioned Owens' arm injury history and how he hasn't really played over the past 2.5 years. So this is his first pitching performance he's had in a couple years. 2 straight fastballs to start the at-bat, and Tonzik fouls that one off. 1 ball and 1 strike. Owens said before the injury, he did go back and forth playing the outfield and pitching. Now the 1-1 catches the outside corner for strike 2. Justin Antonzik, 2 for 3 with a walk tonight. He was also 2 for 5 last night, so Antonzik off to a 4 for 8 start. The 1-2 pitch from Owens, a curveball. Antonzik lines it to second baseman Ben Beachy and is retired. A good piece of hitting from Justin Antonzik, but the ball flies right to Ben Beachy at second, and that'll bring up Daniel McFarland. Daniel McFarland in the 3-hole today for the Copperheads is 0 for 4 on the day, does have an RBI. And the first pitch to McFarland is a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. Daniel McFarland, despite being 0 for 4 today, went 2 for 2 yesterday, reached base all 5 times. He was hit by a pitch as well. He reached on a fielder's choice, and he reached on an error as he swings through the curveball from Owens. No balls and 2 strikes.
Owens, who is recovered from Tommy John surgery, probably, I mean, this might be his, like you're saying, first time actually working live from the mound. Is the 0-2 pitch a little bit wild on the outside in the dirt. It'll be interesting to see what kind of presence Owens can have from a season-long perspective.
His job right now is just to put another 0 up on the board. The Scouts already trailing by 4, can't afford to give up another one. And the curveball from Owens is fouled off toward the Copperhead dugout. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Daniel McFarland. Owens sets the pitch. Ripped down the first baseline, but foul. And the count will stay at 1-2. Daniel McFarland, the native of Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky being the same hometown as Scouts social media graphic designer Joey Gardner. Joey, if you're not listening, I'm upset.
The 1-2. Fouled off down the third baseline this time.
Going on pitch number 7 of this at-bat. Good job here by McFarland staying alive.
Owens takes the sign. Delivers the 1-2. A curveball that hooks in there for strike 3. A filthy curveball that gets McFarland looking. Caden Owens' first strikeout in honestly a couple years. In his first strikeout of this 2017 season, and there's 2 down here in the top of the 9th.
And that curveball from Owens about as good of a pitch as I have seen from any Scouts player in the past couple of days.
That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Matt Harrison. Harrison, a 2-run bomb over the left field wall in the 3rd inning. He also singled and scored in the 5th. He's 2 for 4 today, and he swings through the first pitch of the at-bat, 0-1. Now the pitch from Owens, once again swung through on the outside edge. No balls and 2 strikes. Owens sets the 0-2 pitch. Way off the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Matt Harrison. Copperheads 7, Scouts 3, top of the ninth here at Grady's Field. The home opener of this 2017 Xenia Scouts season. Owens the lefty. Sets and deals. Another curveball in there for strike 3. 2 straight strikeout lookings from Caden Owens on curveballs to end the ninth. The Copperheads don't get anything. The Scouts need a big rally in the ninth once again. They got 5 in the ninth last night. They're down by 4, 7-3 here tonight. You're listening to Xenia Scouts Baseball on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Back here for the bottom of the ninth at Grady's Field. The Scouts needing a rally down 7-3. But Andrew Alix has one more out-of-town scoreboard update before we begin this ninth.
All right, looks like it's the bottom of the ninth in Grand River, and the St. Clair Green Giants leading the Grand River Loggers by a score of 15-10. We're actually going to have to jump in here, but the Hamilton Joes came back, and they are now winning 13-6 against the Richmond Jazz. Only other in-division matchup is going to be Licking County beating Cincinnati by a score of 12-8. Grand Lake beating Galleon 4-1. Lake Erie and Muskegon all tied up at 8. Back to Gabe Genovesi with the bottom of the ninth.
First pitch to Ben Beachy to lead off the bottom of the ninth is a strike on the inside corner. Good work, my friend, getting that out-of-town scoreboard in there quickly.
Yeah, man, I try really, really hard.
The 0-1 pitch to Beachy this time just misses off the outside edge. 1 ball and 1 strike. Beachy tonight 1 for 3 with an infield single. He was also hit by a pitch in the 5th, so he's been on base twice. Now the 1-1 to Beachy is fouled off behind the plate. And Cole Shinsky, by the way, before I forget to mention this, is in to close out this game for the Copperheads. Beachy down on the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Scouts badly needing to get something going. The 1-2 flied high down the first baseline, but foul and out of play, and Beachy stays alive. Cole Shinsky, another Ohio Bobcat on this Southern Ohio Copperhead team. The lefty stands at 6'5", 230 pounds. He did not play at Ohio last season as a freshman. His senior season in high school at Knock High School, he went 10-0 with an ERA of 1.29 as Beachy grounds one towards the shortstop. A low throw. It goes away from the first baseman, and Beachy's going to race all the way to second and dive in. And the Scouts have their leadoff runner aboard. The throw from the shortstop, Kirkpatrick, was low. Harrison could not scoop it out of the dirt at first, and Ben Beachy has himself on second base. It probably will be scored an error on Kirkpatrick.
And is that what you would think it is? Would you say that it was an error on the throw from the shortstop, Kirkpatrick?
I would say it's an error on the throw from Kirkpatrick.
I would say I agree.
Nice, easy 2-hopper to the shortstop, but he just couldn't handle the throw. And that'll bring up Jordan Lambert for the Scouts. And Lambert hacks at a first pitch fastball. Nothing doing, no balls and 1 strike. Beachy stands on second. The Scouts are going to need a lot more than that if they want to come back. Down 7-3 to the Copperheads here in the bottom of the ninth. Lambert, the lefty, pops one towards the first baseman on a curveball. It lands just foul. And fortunately for the Scouts, Matt Harrison, the first baseman, could not get there, but Lambert is quickly in a hole 0-2. Jordan Lambert tonight 0 for 3 and hit by a pitch. He did come around to score. After being hit by a pitch, he stole 2 bases. He stole second and third when he was on the base paths. Beachy on second. Lambert, the batter. Shinsky, the pitcher. The 1-2 pitch. Low and away. A good block by McCauley, who now fires down to third, but Beachy slides in safe and moves up 90 feet.
And just like that, the story of the day, the Scouts not able to put too many numbers up in the hit column, but just on the base pass, able to, keep themselves alive in this game.
So now with the fly ball to the outfield, it'll score Beachy. That's not exactly what the Scouts are looking for. The 2-2 pitch is down low for ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Jordan Lambert. Now the 3-2 pitch, and Lambert chops at one high in foul territory, and this time it'll land just in front of Harrison once again. And you mentioned earlier about us chasing ball 4. Lambert might have just chased ball 4 there.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, maybe trying to do a little too much.
Three balls and 2 strikes to Jordan Lambert. Ben Beachy stands on third. The Scouts down 7-3. The 3-2 pitch, and Lambert fouls one off to stay alive in the at-bat. Jordan Lambert trying to fight his way to a base hit, and Cole Shinsky will step off the mound. Shinsky making his first appearance for the Copperheads this season, and Lambert fouls off another 3-2 pitch to stay alive. (7-3), the Scouts trail by 4. Lambert stands in the 3-2 pitch, and this time he fouls it off his ankle. Lambert struck out in the first, grounded out to second in the third, struck out in the fifth as well, both swinging. And as I mentioned, hit by a pitch and scored in the 7th. The 3-2 pitch, low in the dirt, ball 4. Jordan Lambert looks back to the dugout and tries to pump up his team. The Scouts have the first 2 runners on here in the 9th. And that'll bring up Caden Owens for the Scouts. Owens tonight, 0 for 4. He struck out in the first inning, flew out to short in the third, flew out to left in the 5th, and flew out to short once again in the 7th. We've mentioned it several times, but he roped the double last night, and that's what the Scouts are looking for right now. The first pitch to him is low and away for ball 1. Jordan Lambert stands on first. He's already stolen 2 bases tonight. But with a lefty on the mound, he probably won't be going now, as Owens hacks at an off-speed pitch, 1 ball and 1 strike. Owens steps out of the box, takes a big, deep breath, knowing his team badly needs a hit here. The 1-1 pitch, and it's low, below the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike to Caden Owens. Lambert on first. Scouts still trailing 7-3 as Owens ropes one toward right field. That lands right in front of the right fielder. Caden Owens has himself an RBI single. Jordan Lambert dives into third, and here come the Scouts out of the dugout. It's a 7-4 game.
And just like last night, the Scouts never say die. Caden Owens with a big-time single, bringing one home, and now the tying run at the plate in Kyle Casserly. And Kyle Casserly, a guy who we know could have home run power, that would tie the game here now.
Casserly steps up to the plate, 0 for 4 today. First pitch to Cass is in the dirt. It bounces away. Lambert's going to come home and score on the wild pitch. The Scouts need 4. They've scored 2 here in the 9th. Caden Owens moves up to second on the wild pitch, and we have ourselves a 7-5 ball game. 1 ball and no strikes to Kyle Casserly, still looking for his first hit of the Great Lakes season. And now we'll have a mound visit by the pitching coach for the Copperheads, and Dan McCauley, the catcher, out there with pitcher Kolshinsky. They count 1 ball and no strikes on Kyle Casserly. And Casserly will go and talk to Caden Owens and Coach Bubba Cates. A long mound visit at the mound here for the Copperheads. And the home plate umpire will come out and break it up. And we'll get back to play here in the bottom of the 9th. Nobody out for the Scouts. Copperheads 7, Scouts 5. As Xenia is down to their final 3 outs, but they've scored the first 2 runs of this inning on an error. Ben Beachy reached on an error, and Jordan Lambert also reached, and then Caden Owens an RBI single. One ball and 1 strike to Kyle Casserly. Caden Owens on second. The 1-1 pitch. Low and outside for ball 2. Two balls and 1 strike to Kyle Casserly. The pitch from Shinsky. And Casserly hammers one towards center field. Going back is the center fielder, McFarland. He makes the grab. Caden Owens moves up to third. And a tying run still at the plate. Caden Owens 90 feet away from scoring. Casserly put a rocket on that ball, but nothing doing.
And now is going to be the time that Joey Roddy is going to have to grow up a little bit here. And it would be a big time to make a big splash in his Great Lakes League debut. He represents the tying run at the plate here with Caden Owens at third.
Roddy 0 for 4 tonight as the first pitch to him catches the outside corner for strike 1, and he didn't like that call. A quick turn away from the home plate umpire. Roddy 4 strikeouts tonight. Like Cass, he's also looking for his first hit in the Great Lakes League. The 0-1 pitch, Roddy swings through it. No balls and 2 strikes. And I was talking to Roddy before the game, and he actually told me that he likes to hit more down in the order, the 7, the 8 spot. That's where he was before college ball. Now the 0-2, and he swings through a pitch, strike 3. Joey Roddy has struck out 5 times tonight, and it'll all come down. Well, I was going to say Donald Ring, but it looks like we have a pinch hitter.
Yeah, and it's Dylan Lottenville to the plate. Lottenville came in for Donald Ring when Caden Owens came in to pitch.
And he swings at the first pitch. No balls and 1 strike. Lottenville was in the lineup last night for the Scouts. Dylan Lottenville went 1 for 4 with a walk. The 0-1 on the outside corner for strike 2. So the Scouts are down to their final strike. Copperheads lead 7-5 over the Xenia Scouts. Caden Owens on third for Xenia. Lottenville at the plate. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and the Scouts go down fighting once again. But they take a 7-5 loss here at home. The Xenia Scouts fall to 0-2. They lose their first home opener since 2013. And the Copperheads move to 2-0. 10-8 the final score last night, 7-5 the final score tonight. Any last thoughts on this one, Andrew?
Like you said, I mean, a tough one. Starting pitching with that one blow-up inning, just like we had in yesterday's contest. This time it was the third again, actually.
Same inning.
Top of the third, it was a 4-run frame instead of a 6-run frame. But these Scouts will never say die, and all I gotta say is the Scouts lost their first 2 games to the Copperheads last year, and they went on to win the Southern Division Championship and make a deep run into the playoffs in what was really sort of a magical season. But unfortunately, looks like we're strapped for time here.
We are strapped for time. Unfortunately, we have a laptop charger not working, and we are at 1%.
1%,
So
indeed.
we apparently we're rookies, and we just made a rookie move, not having a backup charger.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Well, that's on me. That charger was gonna go. I've had that one on me. But I am Andrew Alix. He is
Gabe Genovesi. The Scouts lose 7-5 to the Copperheads. We'll be back at Grady's Field tomorrow at 4:05, an afternoon start, as the Scouts look for their first win of the 2017 season. Thanks for tuning in today. For Andrew Alix, I'm Gabe Genovesi. Have a great night, everybody.
Hit that big red subscribe button, folks. I'm telling you, it's worth it.